Skilled foreign workers in the U.S. are controversial for a variety of reasons, but economics professor Gaurav Khanna says those who see only the negative effects mistakenly believe that migration is a zero-sum game.
When immigrants come, they take away jobs, so there must be zero-sum. On the other side, when you think of origin countries, the countries that send immigrants, right, there's this conception that it's a zero-sum game in the sense that you're losing kind of the brightest minds when these folks leave the country.
But he says when you look at the data, it's clear that there are not only winners and losers when students and workers migrate to the U.S., the situation is much more nuanced. In fact, Khanna suggests it's a win-win situation even as it defies many hopes and expectations. Consider the example of an Indian native trained in science and engineering who dreams of getting a high-paying job in Silicon Valley. But their work visa runs out or they can't get one in the first place.
So they stay back in India. But what that means is that in the long run in India, there is kind of a skilled workforce, right? They're trained, they're ready to work. And so the Indian firms then tap into the skilled workforce and the Indian tech boom takes off.
American firms also see that skilled workforce overseas and they offshore jobs to India. Khanna says a similar situation has occurred with Filipino nurses trained in the U.S.
The U.S. really needed a lot of nurses, and so they made it easier for Filipino nurses to come to the U.S. But what that led to was a lot of women in the Philippines started getting nursing degrees. They started going to medical school.
And those Filipino nurses who did get jobs in the United States, they send a lot of money back home, creating more wealth for their families and more educational options for Filipino kids. So, what has the U.S. gained from the migration and training of skilled foreign workers? Khanna points out what he calls the downstream benefits of the innovations that are tied to foreign workers.
You know, if you think of the car manufacturing sector in Detroit, it's very far from Silicon Valley. But it uses a lot of software, not just in the production process, but our cars actually have software in it. Now, that innovation actually occurred in Silicon Valley by a bunch of Indian immigrants.
Americans of most political stripes see things in this global economy that they don't like. But Khanna argues that the end result is not a brain drain, but a brain gain for those countries involved. The paper he co-authored is published in the journal Science. Thomas Fudge, KPBS News.